It's 2019, and what better discussion topic than politics? South of our border, we got Donald Trump. He's a superb leader, respectable and honest, and has one goal in mind: make America great again. Also, his opposition, Hillary Clinton, what should have been. But I don't think she's too credible with that. Oh, let's talk about Justin Trudeau. Oh, wait, the pretty boy has only accomplished creating a massive debt, impaired free speech, and legalization of marijuana. Before this topic gets blown out of proportion, let's focus on striving for the greatness of the Republic. I think we should address an ancient Greek philosopher's political view, Aristotle. According to Aristotle, there were three types of legitimate governments. Firstly, there was kingship, which is ruled by a king. Secondly, there is aristocracy, ruled by aristocrats, which are essentially a small group of elites. And the third type is constitutional government, partly good of the city. But as Aristotle states, quote, man is a political animal, end of quote. These three types of governments become perverted when the leaders have their own desires in mind and become selfish, turning a blind eye to the needs of the population. This occurs when kingship turns to tyranny, aristocracy becomes oligarchy, and when constitutional government becomes democracy. I bet hearing democracy as a perverted government must sound kind of odd living in North America, but Aristotle viewed democracy to favor the largest group, which is usually the poorest. This leads to a wield of numbers to push their own agenda. Let's rewind for a moment. How is this government needed? Well, government is needed because humans naturally gather together, whether it would be as small as a family or village, or as large as a city. Families in tiny villages are generally self governed by its elders, but on a city scale, politics come into play. Politics is related to the Greek word for city, polis. The polis, according to Aristotle, is the maximum and minimum size for a political community. And Aristotle states that political affairs in the polis is to promote happiness in all of its citizens, not those who govern. And happiness is achieved on an individual level through reason and virtue. This all sounds pretty fair and efficient. In like every other leader, he has his downfall. We might as well say Aristotle should be someone to model our political system after. But Aristotle's definition of a citizen is someone who is actively involved with political affairs. But who are these rational, exceptional, and ultimately terrific humans whom are citizens? Oh, what's going on? Real citizen. Hey, what's going on? See? Okay, come around, boys, come around. Come around. Us real citizens. These are the fine men who are the citizens of the ideal polis, because look how educated and rational beings they are. Aristotle states women and men will never have a perfect friendship because women are inferior to men. Rational power in women lacks control and authority. Women need men to tell them what to do because by nature they are unable to regulate their affairs properly.
Look at these women. They are not citizens because they cannot use rational thought.
Also, commonly conquered people were enslaved, and these people were not citizens. Slaves were considered to be natural slaves, born as a living tool, and were considered worse at conducting their own life than women were. It is morally right to enslave these people as they do not know what to do, just like why women were owned by their husbands and fathers.
This is my slave to Rome. He is my leg slave. He is not a citizen because he is a slave.
The population of slaves were composed of conquered people, barbarians who were people not from Greece, people of different climates, as Greece had the perfect temperature and everywhere else had temperatures which created slaves naturally. Slaves, barbarians, and women, according to Aristotle, are not capable of rational thought and therefore are not citizens. To finish this off, let's summarize Aristotle's ideal city. A man qualified for citizenship is under the obligation to help run the city. This will bring military power and a strong economy to the polis. These rational men, who are considered realists and educated with citizenship, call the shots. These citizens are the ones who enjoy the rewards of the city. This is when justice is achieved. Under this falls the middle class. These are laborers and farmers, whom are men, who work to sustain the city's everyday life. Underneath them are slaves and women. These people are used to empower the city through the direction of its citizens and the purpose of supporting the citizens. This three-level support system will support the function of the city, which will meet the needs of the poor to the rich. To improve this city, Aristotle suggests philosophy as an excellent source of political legitimacy. Also, moving forward to consistently improve the polis, identifying less than perfect reasoning and emotions, and striving for rationalism will keep the city moving forward. Gather lots of information, study vast numbers of other cities, and apply improvements to your own. This ideal city will then produce good, young, rational men to become citizens and lead the next generation in the polis.
Hi there, I'm Aristotle. Ah!